What's up, everybody? It's Kellen Nitro for Nitromaniac TV's wrestling channel, and joining me tonight is the Moorhouse. Now, you changed your Twitter to...
One baby-faced heel.
So, it's the baby-faced heel, but still Moorhouse.
I'm still by Moorhouse. This is a branding thing.
Gotcha.
So this is just going to be a collaboration of multitude of different types of media.
Nice.
That I'll be sharing in the near future here.
It's time for Nitro's take. That's right. It's my take and Moorhouse's take on the 2018 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony, April 6, 2018, from the Smoothie King Center in Nolens, Louisiana.
Nolens.
Or
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
But the locals call it Nolens.
The locals call it
Trust
Nolens.
me, I've been there before, everybody. Nolens.
All right.
Nolens. Anyways, show opens up with Jerry the King Lawler walking out, greeting everybody, and then we get the 3 commandments. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not mess with the Dudley Boyz.
What's up?
What's up, indeed. I thought that this was a very entertaining induction package, with Edge and Christian coming out and doing all the inducting and all the great stories that they had from the TLC era and from the WWE Attitude era, and going forward and inducting the Dudley Boyz into the WWE Hall of Fame was long overdue.
Absolutely. They have earned their place in the Hall of Fame. Countless TLC matches, success at wherever they've been. It's kind of funny. They decided to let Devon lead, which is not usual for them. They usually have Bubba Ray lead.
Yeah.
But no, Devon played the leader of the group just for the Hall of Fame inductee, which seemed to really win the approval of all the boys.
I think they were playing off of the backstage role that Devon plays with the WWE now as a producer. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's going to be great. And Devon's got a couple of kids that are of age right now that they could be a good little tag team eventually later on. They're starting to heat up on the indies a little bit and that stuff. I know pictures of them have shown up on Twitter over this past week and I believe they're working shows in New Orleans this weekend. So if you are in New Orleans watching this, go forth and check these guys out if they are on a card. I'll get the name for a future Nitro's take or a video later on of what act that they're using or what gimmick they're using, I should say. But yeah, something to watch. But man, Team 3D, the Dudley Boyz in the WWE Hall of Fame, that's awesome.
Yeah, little Dudley.
The next honoree after the Dudley Boyz was Hillbilly Jim. Don't go messing with a country boy. But you know what? They didn't play that. They didn't play Don't Go Messing with a Country Boy. It was something else.
It was generic country music.
It was.
Yeah. It
was, as the boys over at OSW would say, it's generic country bibble.
It was terrible.
That was bad, yeah. Jimmy Hart came out and they used Eat Your Heart Out Rick Springfield, which I thought was pretty cool, and I figured, okay, well, Don't Go Messing with a Country Boy was on the wrestling album, same album as Eat Your Heart Out Rick Springfield, and, you kind of figure, all right, cool, we'll get them, or both tracks will be able to be listened to and played by WWE crew over top of the audience, right, and that stuff. Nope, not at all. It was just Eat Your Heart Out Rick Springfield and then generic country bibble for Hillbilly Jim.
I wanted the song. They own the song.
Yeah. They
don't play the song. And they edited almost all footage of his matches with removing that song, which I don't understand.
No, on the network and everywhere. The speech itself was long. It was super long. And it's a good story. I mean, from front to back, it's a great story for him. And he was one of the top recruits out of Kentucky for basketball at one time, and then WWE and pro wrestling grabbed its claws into him and pulled him up. The big deal with that speech, though, is it's long and it's for the hardcores.
Yeah.
If you're not a hardcore fan, you won't like that speech.
No, he basically went through a who's who timeline of his list. Started here, I met this guy, went to the Hart Foundation, got trained by them, worked with some Toronto guys, went to here, got picked up by wrestling, blah, 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 etc., etc.
Exactly. But, good to see him in. You've always thought that he was in.
I thought he was. I was fooled.
I was shocked. There was a shocking name there, and it was a pleasant surprise type shock, sure. And you know what? Hillbilly Jim, WWE Hall of Famer 2018, not bad. All right, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
Up next, we had Ivory's induction, and this was cool to see as an Attitude fan myself, Attitude Era fan myself, as you are as well.
Absolutely.
And just a great veteran that gets honored. Somebody with a very, very, I guess, not explosive personality, but just like a spastic personality. Sure. We'll go with that. Spastic, yeah.
She has a character. She definitely seems to love the industry. She loves to make an impact in people's lives.
Yeah.
She, I guess, never been married. I didn't know that.
No. So this was kind of like, she portrayed it as her marriage ceremony to the fans, I guess, pretty much. That finally, after how many years of quote-unquote dating, they finally decided to get married, right? So so a lot of marriage metaphor in her speech, kind of alluding to the fans as someone, or people that she had been involved with for years, and now they decided to finally, with the WWE Hall of Fame, it was Mark Carano, the head of talent relations for WWE, phoning up and saying, hey, listen, we want to bring you in, and that was like an engagement. And then, all this build up and everything like that, and having Molly Holly as the person to induct Ivory into the Hall of Fame, acting as a maid of honor almost, and that stuff, and the fans being the other half of the ceremony and everything. It was pretty cool.
It was cool. She definitely was having a great time.
Yeah.
We noticed the teleprompter during her speech, but you could tell that she didn't need it. She was definitely flowing naturally. It was fantastic to see. She definitely has a passion for it. I thought was definitely one of the highlights for the speech packages. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. It was one of my favorite speeches of the night. It was fun because it was kind of like seeing, your mom who just got on Facebook and Twitter excited about being on Facebook and Twitter for the first time. So it's that same joy of just, well, what does that do? Oh, poop emoji, cool, just over and over again, right? Just the same type of, I guess, excitement and allure, if you will. And she's a classy lady. She's just a real awesome person. I've had a chance to meet her in person last year in Orlando, and a real classy lady, and deserves every recognition for sure. So right after that was the Legacy inductees, and Ken, they do this every year now. They've been doing this every year for the last couple of years, bringing in the past names of wrestling. And this year the list included people like Sputnik Monroe, who was huge in Memphis, and a name that we will remember from watching WWE programming for years, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Lord Alfred.
That's right.
Finally gets some recognition by his own company. He's been there, as far as I can remember. He worked the first WrestleMania 1. He was the in-between the intermission guy at that time.
That's right. Promotional consideration brought to you in part by Mr. Freeze, or whatever it was.
Exactly. He was Vince's English go-to guy.
That's right.
Right-hand man. It was nice to see him get some honors. There's a bunch of them. To be honest, I can't remember the names they did to fly by, because I do find this category, it's stuff as much as you can.
Cora Combs was on there.
Yeah, Cora Combs.
She was a hottie back then. Wow.
But again, the problem with this inductee is, you got 5 to 10 people, they just here you go, here's a bunch of guys, 4-minute package, there you go, they're in.
That's right. My name is Kid Rock.
Bar to the bar, the bang to bang.
Yeehaw! In the Hall of Fame. Drunker than a skunk. Woo! Man was lit.
He was having a good time.
Just like they just pulled him out of a bar on bourbon. Lit.
On bourbon.
On bourbon.
Off bourbon.
Off bourbon. Off bourbon, on bourbon. He's in there now as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Hooray.
There was some controversy, decided to go political, and he definitely got the fans' attention. So he backpedaled it. He decided to just be neutral then after that.
He decided that wasn't the bridge he wanted to burn tonight, or the hill he wanted to die on tonight, and just figured, you know what? back to bourbon.
Yeah.
And he went back to bourbon after. Yeah. So, see you Sunday, mate, at WrestleMania, and play Taker out.
Free Kid Rock concerts.
And if you're not playing Taker out, I don't know, give us another Lonely Road of Faith montage or something. The next inductor was the Road Dogg, and the next inductee was Double J Jeff Jarrett, finally going into the WWE Hall of Fame in what we had discussed as probably the most jaw-dropping, shocking, mind-blowing announcement of the Hall of Fame class this year. And it didn't disappoint because the man seemed legit happy to be there.
Oh, this is one of those redemption nominations. Mm-hmm. He had some troubles with demons this year. Earlier this year, he finally cleared those up, got the call in, and he was the most emotional person inducted today.
That's right, yeah. And I found it to be one of the more entertaining acceptance speeches of the show. Road Dogg tried to save some time because he knew the show was going over a little bit, and so the inductor speech was very short, like the shortest of the night. It was like, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jeff Jarrett, and
20-second introduction.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And just gave Jeff all the time in the world to do his thing. Jeff was getting a little choked up, but then they sang "With My Baby Tonight" at the end, and everybody went home happy.
It dragged. The song dragged.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was about as good as the Freebirds singing in Dallas a couple of years ago. Yeah. So,
but here's a question: what's more shocking, Jeff Jarrett in the Hall of Fame, or the Gagnes in the Hall of Fame?
See, he asked me that during the show, and I'm trying to think exactly what is more shocking, and I'd have to say that it's equally as shocking. Like, they're on the same plane because these are 2 or 3 names that you wouldn't expect to see in the WWE Hall of Fame, and yet there they are. So we live in an era in 2018 where it's like the new generation. Anything could happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
And it proves that Mr. McMahon always forgives.
But does he necessarily forget?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. You haven't heard the story about Kane and Gallows?
I have, actually.
Yeah? He forgot about that.
He did forget about that, right?
He's like, you never worked here before. I'm like, no.
Right. Jarius J.J. Robertson gets the Warrior Award this year. Man, what a treat that had to have been to see live, because I think he is the best Warrior Award winner or not just this year, but since the award's been invented in 2015.
He seemed to have a blast. He's a lifelong WWE fan. He was shaking. He was nervous during his whole speech.
Oh, yeah.
He was happy to rib his favorite superstars.
I'm not sure if that was nerves or if that was just pure excitement bursting out from the kid, because the man, for a 16-year-old kid, he's just bopping and bouncing around on stage, and that's just pure excitement. Like, maybe this is his first WrestleMania he gets a chance to see live too. So, let me tell you, you get a chance to go to your first WrestleMania live, it's a game changer.
And what about his cause,
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, he's doing a cause where he's looking for organs, so he's encouraging other people to donate once they've passed to
organ donation, yeah.
Once they pass, because he's himself has had 2 new livers.
Mm-hmm. Sign those organ donation cards, everybody. It's a big deal. If something happens to you, a little bit of you can live on in somebody else, and you're helping out somebody else too in the long run, which is great. The next inductor was The Big Show, and he came out and spoke a lot of heartfelt words about his friend Mark Henry, who is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight.
Yep, Big Show Mark have been friends since Big Show arrived. Mm-hmm. He told a funny story about Mark being upset, so he came up to Mark and he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I can't bend this quarter."
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. I kind of like the pan that they were talking about in the lead-up videos prior to tonight as well. Yeah. The double hinged pan that he was trying to bend, mm-hmm. And it was hard. And Vince got a chuckle out of watching him trying to do it and said, "Don't ever get that angry," But a really interesting moment was him kind of sending a message out tonight to Martha Hart, who's Owen Hart's widow, saying, "Martha, talk to WWE. Let's get Owen in here So maybe the wheels are turning. Maybe next year in New York, fingers crossed, there might be a long awaited Hall of Fame induction. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep. For the guys who haven't been in the Hall of Fame, Owen Hart's top of the list, I think, with Bulldog not far behind. So
absolutely.
Hopefully we can get the ball rolling. Mark Henry did show a plea to Martha to get that, just don't let the memory of Owen die.
It is landmark what went down there with that, because that is something that we've been waiting to hear at a WWE Hall of Fame ceremony in a long time. And I know Jeff Jarrett had talked about it in his speech a little bit about Owen as well, but never to this level where WWE and, well, a Hall of Fame inductee, not WWE itself, but a Hall of Fame inductee went out there and just flat out said, hey, listen, we need Owen in this thing.
He's family. He had a great speech. He talked about his career. Mark didn't have the easiest road. He was pretty cocky in the beginning. He definitely, didn't focus on his training like he should have.
Right, exactly. But hey, persevere, things can happen. You know what? I'm not as meh about Mark Henry getting into the Hall of Fame as I was earlier this week now after seeing it. It's a good fit for him.
Absolutely.
In the oddest pairing of inductor and inductee of the night, we had Paul Heyman walk out and induct Goldberg. What?
Doesn't make any sense. You have an ECW guy inducting a WCW guy into a WWE Hall of Fame.
The entire induction speech from Heyman was weird, I found, Moorhouse, was because it was essentially a promo for Sunday. It was Paul Heyman calling out Roman Reigns one last time.
Yeah, trying to build that angle. Part of me we'll talk about it in our WrestleMania preview show, but part of me fears that there could be some fan backlash at this match, so they're trying to definitely get heat on it.
Well, Goldberg walks out, does a great speech, pretty much stating that he was grumpy at everybody, still is grumpy at everybody, and this last run he did was for his kids, so he's super dad. But he's super grumpy dad now.
Yeah. He seemed a bit bitter in the speech. He did throw some sand at some guys that caused him problems in the past, without being like, I forgive you or anything. Just, yeah, you did that, Yeah, but at the end, he did appreciate the fan base. He did say, the fans built this and I understand it. I'm a wrestler, but, he definitely did it for his kid. That was his whole goal.
Absolutely. And the show ends and goes to black with him saying, who's next? No. Even though there's nobody left. It's essentially a man. What's that?
Is it you? Are you next? Am I next?
No.
No?
I'm not down there this year.
Oh.
So
no, you're not.
I'm here.
You're right here.
I'm here.
Wow.
I'm real. Ow!
Oh.
So now it's time for us to give our final review out of 10 Moorhouse, and what I usually like to do is kind of take into all aspects of the show, front to back, watchability being one, production levels being another, rewatchability being a big one as well. Would you watch this again? And just your plain enjoyment of it.
I give it a 6 out of 10. It's definitely an endurance. It's a 4.5 hour show. Rewatchability, I think maybe in 10 years I can see myself watching. I wouldn't watch myself watching it next year and the year after. It was a good show. It was fun to watch, but again, you have to be prepared for the endurance.
I myself will give it a 7 out of 10. I thought, like most Hall of Fame ceremonies I've seen, it was long. There were some long-winded speeches. Hillbilly Jim went on and on and on. So maybe he should have cut that down a little bit. Jeff Jarrett's was a little long as well, but his was interesting because it was something that we never thought would happen in our lifetime, at least. And I think the most interesting aspect of the night was Mark Henry pleading to Martha Hart about Owen Hart. So I can't wait to see in the coming months where that leads.
It's going to be interesting. I hope, Martha will never see what I say here, but I would love to see Owen honored and respected by WWE.
Exactly.
I've been a fan of his since, I was a 5-year-old or 6-year-old when he was a Blue Blazer. So I'd love to see him honored in the Hall of Fame.
For sure. Anyways, I'm Kellen Nitro. He's Moorhouse.
I'm Moorhouse, or the one babyface heel.
Oh, wow. Brand change. All right.
One
babyface heel. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kellen Nitro. Follow me on Instagram as well, at Kellen Nitro as well. I take a lot of cool pictures. Whoa. Anyways, happy wrestling watching and later days, guys. And we'll see you later on in the weekend for more wrestling coverage on the busiest weekend of the year. For wrestling fans, it's WrestleMania weekend. Tomorrow is going to be a lot more stuff.